we're all going to start in easy snake pose at the top of our mat. So just cross-legged, right towards the front. So you're going to have your arms kind of droop, your shoulders, rest your hands on your knees. You want to either close your eyes or keep a soft downward gaze on the ground. So what we're going to do today is kind of the beginner style class. So it's going to be pretty easy. We're going to start by doing a warm-up. We're going to warm up the joints, go through some dynamic movements, move through a few sun salutations, and then do some deeper stretching, and then the savasana. So I'll thank you guys for being here today, this early on a Thursday. And we're going to start by setting our intention. So our intention is what we're going to bring to our practice today. And today our intention is acceptance. So you're going to think about accepting where you are in poses and how well you can do things today and how you feel with yourself and your body, and just try to be happy and fulfilled in this moment. So you're going to try and bring that into your practice today. So we're going to start, also, if you at any point feel like you need a break, you can go into child's pose, which is just with your knees kind of up towards the sides of the mat, your arms out in front of you with your head on the ground. If anything's ever hurting, or if you just feel like you need a break, catch your breath, go ahead and fall into child's pose and take that time for yourself. So we're going to start by working up the spine. So as we exhale, we're going to rock forward. Our head down. Pushing the breath out of ourselves. Breathing in deep through the nose as we come back up. Rocking backwards. Inhaling. Rocking forward as we exhale. And you can even, as you go forward, stretch your hands out in front of you if you want. So just go through that with your breathing at your own pace as you inhale and exhale. Exhaling and pushing forward. Inhaling and pulling back up. Pulling your breath in. So I'm going to be doing mostly verbal instruction through this and just a little bit of demonstrating. So mostly, yeah, we verbally cue you guys. But if I feel like you guys need to see what a pose may look like, I'll do it for you guys just to give you some help. So keep going through that, thinking about matching your breath with your movement. Just really warming up the spine. Exhaling, arching for cat pose, tipping tailbone down. Inhaling, dropping your stomach and tipping your tailbone up or down. Just move through that a few times. You want to make sure your knees are under your hips, wrists under your shoulders, elbows. And try to spread your fingers as much as possible and really grip your fingertips to the mat. This way we can avoid wrist pain. We don't want to be collapsing our weight on that wrist joint. If you want to make this a little more challenging, what we can do is as we do cow, we can stretch out the opposite arm and leg. And then when we exhale for cat, we can pull them in. Inhale Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, pull in. Time to do that a couple times to the other side too. So really think of warming up the spine here. And try to keep your head in line with your spine when you're doing this too. So now we're going to stand at the top of our mat. Wider than the hip width. We're going to hinge forward at our hips. Bring our torso parallel to the ground. Drop our hands down. So as we, and you can keep your knees a bit bent so you don't want to lock them. So as we inhale, we're going to sweep an arm up and look up at that hand. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, sweep up with the other hand. Gaze into that hand. A few times with your breath. Really focus on your breathing. And think about that twist in your spine when you look up at your hand. Stand at the top of your mat. Really push back your shoulders and try to shine out from heart center for our mountain pose. So you're going to inhale and reach up. And we're going to exhale and you're going to pull all the way down. Just letting your head and your shoulders and your hands drop down for a forward fold. This is our sun salutation A. So we're going to move through this twice. And then we're going to do sun salutation again. So from here, you're going to inhale and try to straighten your back and knees a little bit. So bring your torso kind of parallel to the floor. So straightening up your back and knees. Keeping your feet right under your hips, so maybe a bit closer in. So you want to make sure your knees are as straight as you can get them for monkey without locking them backwards. And really try to keep your back line with the ground, just letting your hands down. As you exhale, you can try and straighten it a bit more. We'll exhale and fold back down, letting our hands and our head and shoulders drop down. Back nice and straight, and your hands grip to the mat, really wide fingers. We're going to slowly lower down. You want to try to keep your elbows tucked in right in your ribs, and try to lower yourself as slowly as possible. And if you can, get your chest to hit the ground first. So from here, we're going to inhale and just push up a little bit for cobra. So only using your arms a little bit, mostly your back. Arch up. Try to keep your hands super lightly. Try to keep your feet on the floor too. Then exhale and release back to the floor. So the cobra, you really want to think about isolating those back muscles. Now you're going to exhale and push back to the downward dog, which is just making your body kind of like a triangle. Spread your fingers and practice pedaling your heels closer to the ground, like one at a time. Bringing one down closer, then the other. Giving yourself a nice hamstring stretch. probably going to notice it's a lot easier on one side than the other. And that one feels going to be a lot easier to get to the ground than the other one. So you're going to be pushing back and pushing your belly towards your thighs. Walk up to the top of your mat, keeping it a forward fold. So keeping your head and your shoulders drop down. But legs to stand. Letting your head and your shoulders drop down. Just let it release. If you want, you can hold your elbows to these heels. Make sure you're not blocking your knees. You want to keep them a little bit bent. So we're going to inhale, straighten up our back to try and be more parallel to the floor. Really try to think of keeping that back straight. And keeping your head in line with your spine. Exhale and drop back down to forward fold. Inhale and step back into the plank pose. Try to really slowly lower yourself down, really keeping those elbows tucked into your ribs. It's great. It'll get harder as the class goes on to do that. Inhale and arch into cobra. Try to keep your feet flat on the ground, not using your legs or your butt muscles too much, but really isolating your back muscles. If you want, you can try lifting your hands a little bit to see just how much you're using your hands for this. Exhale and release back to the floor. Push back into downward dog. Really spread your fingers and try to grip your fingertips to the mat. Practice leveling your heels. Walk up to the front of your mat, keeping it forward fold. Inhale, straighten up the monkey. Try to keep your head in line with your spine, so you're not looking up too much like that. So we're not cranking our necks at all. Exhale, fold back down. Just letting our head and shoulders drop down. Inhale, we're going to come all the way up. Hands up above our heads. Exhale as we bring the heart center. Pulling back your shoulders, really opening your chest. Take a few breaths here. So we're going to go through that one more time before we do sun salutation. So how are you guys finding that? Not too challenging yet? Okay, just remember, if anything's too hard, like I'll always give you easier modifications if you want. You can always take a break. So bring your hands back up as we inhale. Exhale, swan dive forward into the forward fold. Just dropping down. Inhaling and straightening up a bit for monkey pose. Exhaling and folding back down to the floor. Letting yourself drop down. Inhale and step back into the plank. Try to keep your body in a straight line from your shoulders to your feet. Slowly lowering yourself down. Try to keep those elbows really at your ribs. Inhale and arch for cobra. Exhale and release. Exhale, push back into downward dog. Really thinking about pushing back into your thighs. And trying to get your heels close to the ground. You want to have your feet about hip width apart here. Try to keep that back as straight as possible. And bending your knees if you need to. You should really be able to feel this in the back of your legs. It's a good stretch. especially the closer your heels get to the ground. Walk up to the top of your mat again, keeping in that forward fold. Inhaling and straightening up a bit for monkey. Exhaling, folding back down. Inhaling all the way up. Hands up. Exhaling to heart center. So that's the salutation. So now we're going to do a little bit differently, but it's the same kind of idea, so it shouldn't be too much of you got to stretch from the sun salutation. So what we do, first in salutation A, or for B, sorry, we sit back into chair pose, so it's kind of like sitting into a squat. So kind of just like go back like this, the arms up, pushing your thumbs back. So just sitting right down, you want to keep your knees above your feet, and don't let your knee go before your toe. So you want to make sure when you look down, you can still see your toes there. And really think about pushing your thumbs back and keeping that back straight. From here, we're going to push up out of chair pose, swan dive, hinge forward, down to a forward fold. Inhale, straightening up the monkey, just straightening your knees back a little bit. Really try to think about keeping yourself parallel to the floor. There's also a modification you can take here if you want, where you put your hands just like this to the ground, and you can like step on them, screw up. You can kind of massage your hands with your feet, which feels like really good after a few seconds out of patience. Exhale, fold back down to the floor. Inhale, step back into plank. Float down to the ground. You don't have your feet flat on the mat here, the top is flat down. Inhaling for cobra. Remember, really trying to isolate your back. You don't want to be engaging your legs or your butt muscles at all here. Just a little bit of arms, mostly back. Exhale and release on the floor. Exhale, push back into downward dog. So you can limit to pedal your heels. So what we're going to do here is a little bit different from sun salutation A. We're going to lift up our left leg in the air as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to kick it through and place it between our hands. Then push up into that front leg, kind of like a high lunge. We're going to do warrior one. Pushing up to that leg, take that back foot and let it kind of point out at 45 degrees. You can see back to that, and keep that bend in your front knee. Take this back and try to move it forward so that they're square to the front. This hip's going to try and pull backwards. You want to make sure they're square to the top of your mat. And we're going to have our arms up just like in chair pose with our thumbs pushing back, gazing forward. Try to keep that back leg really straight and active. And bend into that front knee, not letting it go past your toes. Take a few breaths here. Step back into plank. Float down to the mat. Inhale and arch for cobra. Exhale, release. Push back into down. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to lift up your right leg as you inhale. Exhale and keep it through fast as you can. Push up into it. Back into the warrior one pose. That back foot pointing out at at a 45-degree angle. Hips squared in front of that. And then bending into that front knee. You guys all kicked through really well. It used to be a really long time to get that the first time I tried it. Get anywhere near my hands. I'm going to take a few breaths here. You can widen your stance a bit too and kind of step forward with your front foot if you want to get deeper into this. Bend into that knee as much as you can. Without letting it go past your toes. You want to be able to look down and still see the tip of your toe. Look, pulling that back hip forward so that you're really squared in front. Take a few breaths here. So you notice in yoga we do everything we do on one side, we're going to do on the other side too. It's this whole principle of balance that we use in yoga, where we want to make sure that we're keeping our bodies balanced. Anything we do on one side, we're going to do on the other side. So before we did warrior on the other side, now we're moving this side. We're going to do that just so that everything else. Windmill your hands down, bring your front foot, step back and plank. Exhale and float down. It's going to get harder and harder to float down. Inhale and arch up. That's totally okay to feel that you can be as graceful as you want to be. And just remember our intention for this thing being 70%. Exhale and release. Take a few deep breaths. Exhale and push back into downward dog. Take a minute to pedal your heels. Walk up to the top of our mats, forward fold, just letting our head and shoulders drop down. Inhaling for monkey, straightening up our knees and back a little bit. Just letting our hands hang down. Exhale, fall back down to the floor. All the way up and sit back in the chair, please. Pushing our thumbs back, bending our knees. Try to kind of balance on your heels here too a little bit. Sitting back as deep as you can feel comfortable with. Just remembering not to let our feet go too far past our toes here. Exhale, push out a chair. Yourself in mountain pose. You can bring your hands heart center if you want. Take a few breaths. So we're going to go through sun salutation B again. We're going to add a few extra poses after the warrior. Then after that, all the hard work is done. We'll do some down stretches on the mat. Just take a few breaths here and try to center yourself a bit. Just think about your practice. Push up, swan diving forward. And your body just drop down. Inhale, straighten up a little bit for monkey pose. Try to keep your chest open too, pulling back the shoulder blades together. pushing up into warrior one. So we're keeping that back foot out, 45-degree angle, bending into that front knee. Keeping our arms up, pushing our thumbs back. And remembering to bring that back hip forward so that it's square in front. Take a few deep breaths here. From here, we're going to take that back foot and point it right to the side. And we're going to take our arms and go on the sides like this, right up from our shoulders. And then gaze over our top hand, keeping that bend in our front knee. This is warrior two. So really strengthening our quads, this muscle right on the top of our thigh, all through our legs. You want to make sure you're squaring your hips to the side of the mat now, while still bending into that front knee. Gazing over your top hand. A few deep breaths. You can widen your stance a bit too if you feel comfortable with it. Stepping forward a little bit by bit with that front foot. Exalted warrior. So you're just going to kind of lean back and let that back hand kind of rest on the back of your thigh. And gaze up at your palm. And really kind of feeling that bend in your back. Take a few deep breaths. Keeping that bend in your front knee. This is really good for strengthening legs. Windmill our arms down and frame our front foot. We step back into plank. Lower ourselves to the ground. Inhale and arch for cobra. Exhale, release. Exhale, pushing back into downward dog. Take your many years to pedal our heels. Remember to breathe in this pose. It's going to be really easy to forget to breathe, but it's really important that we keep breathing. So you can kind of bend one knee and bring the opposite heel down close to the mat. And then do the opposite, bend the other knee. The other heel down. side of the mat. Inhale and windmill your arms down, framing your front foot, stepping back in the plank. Floating down. And keep those elbows tucked. Inhale and arch for cobra. Exhale and release. Exhale, push back into downward dog. Practice pedaling your heels, taking some deep breaths, really pushing back, trying to keep our back straight, and get a really good stretch in our hamstrings here. Walk up to the top of your mat, getting a forward fold. Inhale, straighten up a bit for monkey. Feel free to take the little modification here if you want. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, come up and sit back in a chair pose. Balancing on your heels, pushing your thumbs back as far as they can go. Sitting down deeply as you can while keeping your balance. Easing up. You're holding it for a few breaths. Try and get comfortable here. Push up to be standing. And that's it. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale. And as you exhale, go to swan dive down for forward fold. Inhale, straighten up for monkey. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, step back in plank. Float down to the floor. Inhale for cobra. Release back to the mat. Exhale, push back into downward dog. Holding it here for a few breaths. Taking that time to pedal your heels, make little adjustments. Spreading your fingers as much as possible, gripping your fingertips to the mat. And you're pushing your belly back towards your thighs. Here we're going to drop down into child's pose. So it's keeping your knees wide, the sides of your mat. Bring your forehead right towards the mat, reaching up from yourself. You should feel a really good stretch in your inner thighs here. The wider you have the knees, the deeper the stretch is going to be. Try to keep your back straight here and drop through. I'm going to drop all of the active stuff is over now. All the hard work is done. So let's take a few minutes here just to breathe. Really feel this also your thigh and glutes. But if you have any pain in that knee, you want to come out of the pose a little bit. It's okay to be on your hands too if you have any pain in that knee. So we're going to hold these poses. Try and keep your back straight so you're not arching out too much. This is a pigeon pose. Make sure that you're not dropping one hip lower to the ground. You want to keep your hips balanced. So if you're dropping one side, be sure to bring it up so the hips are balanced. If you're having pain in that knee though, from having it too straight across, you can bring it back a little bit. It's too challenging. Sink back into that. You can start it up on your hands, and if you want to go deeper into it, that's okay too. Whatever you feel comfortable with doing today. It'll probably be easier on one side than it is on the other. That muscle, feeling that deep stretch.
and make a little tent behind yourself and gaze back at that hand. Really feel a twist in that spine. And if you want, you can take that foot of that bent knee and put it on the outside of the other leg. And really feel that twist in your spine. Try to keep your chest open and pulling the shoulder blades back. Gazing back at that hand. This is our seated spinal twist. Take some deep breaths. Really try to feel where your body is stretching in this pose. So try to go deeper into that if you want. Bending that other knee, reaching with your hand across that knee. Placing your other hand back, gazing back at that hand. Placing your foot on the outside of the other leg if you feel comfortable with that, and feeling that deep stretch in that bent leg. Making sure that we're opening the chest, pulling back our shoulders. Bend your left knee, bring the other ankle wide across, and you're going to reach through that hole and grab behind your thigh. Keeping your head and your shoulders on the mat, try to pull your shoulder blades back while also pulling your legs towards yourself. You'll really feel it in your back thigh, that knee where placed across. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can grab it on the outside of your calf. Try to pull it in. Make sure you're not feeling any pain in that bent knee. And as you exhale, you can try and deepen the stretch a bit. Making sure you don't forget to breathe. Bending that opposite knee, placing the opposite leg across. Reaching through that hole, pulling your legs towards yourself. Your head and your shoulders resting on the mat. Pressing your feet. Feeling that stretch all to your thighs. The rotation of the knee. Remembering to breathe. Remember, if you want to deepen that stretch, we can grab onto the outside of our leg there. Releasing out of the pose. So we're going to do now, so you're going to lie with your arms straight out at your shoulders, keeping both knees bent. And we're going to drop to the left and look in the opposite direction of our knees, using out of that hand. This is our lying spinal twist. Making sure that we're keeping our shoulder blades on the mat, opening our chest. If you want, you can use that hand on the same side as your knees to push on your knee. Push it closer to that. Just gently deepen that stretch. So we'll release out of this pose, drop our knees to the opposite side. Gaze in the opposite direction of our knee. So you can use that right hand to press on your knee. Just gently pushing them a little closer to the mat. Taking some deep breaths. Okay, we're going to move back to lying on your mat. You're going to pull your knees into your chest. And tuck your chin in, wrapping your arms around. You're just going to rock back and forth, side to side, and back and forth, giving your spine a little massage on the floor. Release down, just letting your whole body go. Letting your feet fall open. This is the most important part of yoga. This is where we recover from all that we did. So think about 10 minutes of savasana here. You're just going to relax and think about your practice today. Remember the intention you set at the start of class. Thinking about whether you feel that you brought that into your poses today.
have in your body. And think about releasing any tension in your life, any stresses you might have. Just focus on your body right here and now and how it feels. So you can turn your focus inwards, close your eyes, concentrating on your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Relaxing your whole body.
practice